Imagine you're in a magical forest filled with talking animals, where trees have personalities and adventures hide behind every leaf. In this forest, there's a playful dog named Buster who loves chasing squirrels. But Buster, with his big floppy ears and wagging tail, gets a bit too excited and sometimes forgets to pay attention to where the squirrels go. Barking up the wrong tree is a funny way to say that someone is making a mistake or looking for answers in the wrong place. It's like if you were playing hide and seek and you kept searching in the shed when your friend was hiding in the treehouse all along. You're trying, but you're not looking in the right spot. Once upon a time, people and dogs lived closer to the great outdoors, and hunting for food was a big part of their lives. Dogs, being the helpful companions they are, would chase after animals like squirrels or raccoons. Sometimes these clever critters would trick the dogs by running up one tree and then jumping to another, leaving the dogs barking at the first tree, the wrong tree. So when people saw their dogs barking up a tree with no animal in it, they started saying barking up the wrong tree to talk about someone making a mistake or not knowing where the real answer was. It's like playing a guessing game and guessing all the wrong answers because you missed the clue. Trees are like the big playgrounds of the forest, and barking is how dogs talk when they're excited or think they've found something. But just like when we play games, sometimes dogs guess wrong and they end up barking at a tree with no squirrels. Oops! It's like shouting, "Found you!" in an empty room during hide and seek. So, barking up the wrong tree is our way of saying, "Oops, try looking over there instead." It reminds us to pay attention, look for the right clues, and not get too distracted by the first tree we see. It's a lesson from Buster and his squirrel chasing adventures, teaching us to make sure we're searching in the right place before we start our barking. And that is the tale of barking up the wrong tree, a story filled with forests, playful dogs, and the fun of finding where the real adventure lies. Here's a poem to illustrate. In a forest where trees could giggle and squirrels could sing, lived a dog named Rufus who loved to do one thing. Chasing squirrels was his game, a pursuit of furry glee. But Rufus had a problem, as we're about to see. One sunny morning, Rufus started the chase. A squirrel darted past with incredible grace. It zipped to a tree, then leapt to another, while Rufus stayed put, confused like no other. He barked at the first tree with all his might. Come out, let's continue our fight." But the squirrel was gone, in the canopy high, munching on nuts underneath the blue sky. The other animals watched with a chuckle and a snort, as Rufus kept barking, his efforts falling short. "You're barking up the wrong tree," they all said with glee. "The squirrel's over there, as plain as can be." But Rufus, determined, kept up his bark, even as the day turned to dusk and then to dark. He thought his loud barking would bring the squirrel down, but all he got in return was a big forest-wide frown. Then out from the shadows stepped a wise old owl, with feathers so fluffy and a demeanor so foul. "Rufus, dear Rufus, you've got it all wrong. The squirrel's moved on, it's long, long gone. Barking up the wrong tree is what you do when you're stuck on an idea without a clue." Rufus paused, his ears perked up high. Realizing his mistake, he let out a sigh. From that day forward, Rufus learned to see not every tree holds the prize, not every bark brings glee. he chased with more wisdom, with the owl's words in mind. And more often than not, the right tree he would find. So let's remember Rufus when we're on a quest to make sure our efforts are truly our best. Barking up the wrong tree reminds us all to keep our eyes open and avoid a silly fall.